It's taken me 25 years to come to the conclusions that I have come to.
Very interesting stuff. That's Dr. John Coleman. He wrote the book, The Hierarchy of the 300. By the time this video is over, you're going to know why every president has been selected and not elected, and that Trump won't save you. In the foreword of his book, this is what he says. In my career as a professional intelligence officer, I have many occasions to access highly classified documents. But during service as a political science officer in the field of Angola, West Africa, I had the opportunity to view a series of top secret classified documents which were unusually explicit. What I saw filled me with anger and resentment and launched me on a course from which I have not deviated, namely to uncover what power it is that controls and manages the British and the United States governments. I kind of feel the same way, John. I was thoroughly familiar with all of the well-known secret societies, such as the Royal Institute for International Affairs, RIIA, the Council of Foreign Relations, which we've talked about, the Bilderbergers, the Trilaterals, the Zionists, Freemasonry, Bolshevism, which you guys probably should spend some time looking up, and all the spin-offs of these secret societies. As an intelligence officer, and even before that, as a young student in the course of my studies at the British Museum in London, I had cut my eye teeth on all of them, plus a good number of others with whom I imagined Americans were familiar. But when I came to the United States in 1969, I found that the names like the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, the Club of Rome, the German Marshall Fund, the Sinai Foundation, the Round Table, the Fabianists, the Venetian Black Nobility, the Mount Perlin Society, Hellfire Club, and many others were either totally unknown here or else their true functions were at best but poorly understood, if at all. He goes on to say that he pursued his investigations, pressing in on the face of severe risk, attacks on myself and my wife, financial losses, continual harassment, threats, and calumny, all a part of carefully crafted and orchestrated program to discredit me. Now let's listen to what he has to say.
And I want to tell you that one of the biggest things I discovered in my work was the existence of a supranational committee composed of 300 men called the Committee of 300, also known in intelligence circles as the Olympians. Committee that runs the world. Now in my book, The Committee of 300, I name every one of them. This is not a book that talks about they. It gives you specifics. Who and what is the Committee of 300? Well, I've dealt with that. I've told you this is a supranational body that knows no boundaries, respects the laws of no countries. The first time that they were publicly announced was by a German socialist by the name of Walter Rathenau. Now I'll give you some background of Walter Rathenau. He was the financial advisor to the Kaiser of Germany, and he was also the financial advisor to the Rothschilds, the French family Rothschild. So he must have known what he's talking about. He made an astonishing statement in 1934. He said, there is a committee of 300 men that rule the world. They are known only to each other, and nothing happens without their consent. Came across this quite by accident when I was serving in Africa, in Angola, and I was given a series of documents which were only supposed to be handed in to top-level people. They were what we called above the top level of classification of intelligence documents, and there I discovered that whilst I thought I was in Africa fighting against the invasion of the communists, I was in fact fighting to introduce socialist regimes in the black African countries, and that I was actually working for a committee called the Committee of 300, also known in intelligence circles as the Olympians. In 1986, I wrote a work called Mind Control, Metaphysics, Extremely Low Frequency Radiation and Weather Modifications. And in that work, July the 8th, 1986, I said that the top-level intelligence organization in the United States was the National Reconnaissance Office, far bigger than the CIA and any of the other intelligence agencies. And by the way, we have about 10 different ones in the United States. I even had the audacity to give the address of this organization. 3 weeks ago, Mr. Sam Donaldson, the gentleman who wears that beautiful toupee so effectively, he came on with the program in prime time, and he said, this is one of the biggest scoops that ABC has ever had. And he told about the National Reconnaissance Organization. The exact same thing that I published 8 years earlier. I tell you this to set the stage so that you'll understand I do have some experience and that I know that of which I speak. I came across the families in Italy who were called the Fondi, meaning the people who had all the money. They were all members of the Committee of 300, the Lucatis, the Recanatis, the Volpi du Miseratis. These people are so wealthy that they would make David Rockefeller look like a piker. That is how rich they are. And this is the committee that runs the world. Now, in my book, The Committee of 300, I name every one of them. This is not a book that talks about they. It gives you specifics. Former head of state Mikhail Gorbachev visited the United States a few years ago, flanked by George Bush and Quayle. He opened his Gorbachev Foundation in the United States. And he let slip, he said, this is being done with approval of the Committee of 300. CNN cameras were on him. They immediately switched. Now, I wrote to CNN and I said, could I have a transcript of this program, which they said was available. I never got a reply. I followed it up with letter after letter, but nothing ever came of it. The point I'm trying to make, ladies and gentlemen, is that the federal government, the secret upper-level parallel government that runs the United States, does not want you to know that you have an upper-level parallel government that calls the shots, that dictates what is going to happen to your life and mine. I revealed the existence of an organization called the Royal Institute for International Affairs, which is located at Chatham House in 10 St. James Square in London. I also revealed the existence of the Club of Rome, the Cini Foundation, the Mont Pelerin Society, the Order of St. John, which was known but not known. And I listed all of these secret societies that run the world as executive arms of the Committee of 300. So it controls the world through all of these. The Royal Institute for International Affairs is the executive arm of this committee, which gives instructions to the United States government to this very day. The chain of command is as follows. Every Secretary of State that has been appointed since 1919 is appointed by the Royal Institute for International Affairs. That may come as a shock for you. You think you vote and you put a conservative in the White House, and then he appoints supposedly or allegedly conservative people to carry out the policies that you wanted him to implement. Surprise, surprise. I ask you to find me a conservative Secretary of State since 1919. And if you search diligently and apply the correct rules, you will come up blank. Every one of the Secretaries of State was chosen in London by the Secretary of State, as was Wilson, the President Wilson, as was Roosevelt, as was James Earl Carter. He was specially chosen because he'd had 3 mental breakdowns, and they felt he would be a good guy to manipulate. Oh, I'm talking facts. The Committee of 300 told a man called Aurelio Pecchi to form this Club of Rome with the main object of bringing down the industries and the agricultural development of the United States. He immediately wrote a paper in which he said there are too many people on the earth, and that the United States, with its industrial development, its agricultural development, is responsible for this curse of overpopulation. So the Club of Rome was instituted and organized to start an attack on the world's population using the United States as the whipping boy. And they came up with a paper called the Zero Growth Post-Industrial Plan for Industry and Agriculture for the United States of America. Middle class in the United States of America had to be destroyed, because in the coming push to a world order, the middle class would be the stumbling block, because history had shown that the peasant class in ancient days, when they had revolted, were just easily crushed.
You hear what he said? They are to decline industrial and agricultural in the United States. Take a look around, folks. Right after World War II, that's what they started doing, offshoring all of our jobs. The Clintons opened up China, and now it's hard to get a good middle-class factory job where you could actually go to work, get great benefits, have a long-term job, and then retire with a pension. They snatched that away. The kids of today will never know that type of work atmosphere, which actually built the strongest middle class in history. If we talk about agriculture, we can see every single day how agriculture is under attack. Look around, folks. They're replacing our farmland with solar panel farms, creating solar power that doesn't really work and is never used by the location that they have these farms, where they're taking away thousands and thousands of acres of farmland, not to mention the data centers that they're trying to shove down our throat here in America, which I'll do a video this week about, which is going to be very, very interesting. Let's continue on to what he's saying.
There's no resistance, but now had grown a new super class of people in the United States called the middle class, who had long-term employment, who had job security, who were well paid, who could afford to buy the products that were made by the United States and didn't need to buy products from China or anywhere else.
Some of us are actually old enough to remember everything was made in the USA. Made in the USA. Leave a comment down in the comment section if you remember everything was made in the USA.
And the Club of Rome post-industrial zero-growth paper said this has got to stop. We have to bring down the middle class of the United States. And the way that we will do this, the way that we will accomplish this task, is by crushing their industry. The Club of Rome celebrated its 12th anniversary, and Alexander King, its chairman, stated, the American people henceforth must get used to the idea that they will never, ever again in their lifetime have full employment. What a scandalous thing that our government is fully cooperating with this organization built up by the Royal Institute for International Affairs to destroy the middle class of the United States.
Are you picking up what he's putting down? People have been trying to warn us for years and years and years about the plan, about what's going to happen, and we just chalk it up as conspiracy theory, and now we are living it real time with the ability to look at the old information and to fact check it and see kind of what's going on now, so we can have a clear vision of actually what is going on, that this is not organic, this is a planned decline of America, and it's happening right before our very eyes. And inflation is up. Everything that you buy at the store is more expensive. Every time you put gas in your car right now, it is more expensive. It has gone up again. That is one of the plans as well, is to deplete the middle class of their money, of their resources. I just hope that you guys found some value in this video, that you'll share it with your friends so that people can still participate in the Great Awakening. Don't forget, we're live Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on YouTube, where we always discuss some very good topics. We hope to see you then. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you found value in this video, and let me know if you remember Made in America, or if you had any knowledge of any of this information that I've just shared.